Ah, there you are. Welcome to the Black Quill. Come in, make yourself comfortable. Perhaps a cup of tea, a strong coffee, or even a glass of wine is in order. Go ahead. Once you're settled, draw your blanket a little tighter and dim the lights. Because tonight, we delve into the shadows where nightmares are born and whispered stories come alive. Are you ready? Good. Let us begin. Tonight's story, The Shadow Passenger. It was supposed to be an easy shift. A few rides, a few extra bucks. I drove the night shift because it was quieter, and the kind of people who needed a ride at 2 a.m. didn't ask too many questions. That night was no different, or at least it started that way. The rain was coming down in sheets, turning the streets into mirrors. My wipers struggled to keep up, smearing the glow of streetlights across my windshield. Then the app pinged, a pickup, just a mile ahead. I almost missed him at first. He was just standing in the street like a dark shadow, soaked to the bone, his head down so I couldn't see his face. I rolled down the window. "Need a ride?" I called. He nodded, slow and deliberate, and slid into the back seat without a word. He didn't say much, just gave me an address. No pleasantries, no small talk. That was fine by me. I like it that way. Small talk makes me uncomfortable. I turned on the GPS and started driving, the sound of the rain and the hum of the engine filling the silence. But something felt off. It wasn't anything I could put my finger on, at least not at first. Maybe it was the way he sat, too still, like he wasn't really there. Or maybe it was the smell, faint but sour, like damp earth and something metallic. I glanced in the rearview mirror. He was staring straight ahead, his face hidden under the hood of his jacket. But then, I noticed something strange. His reflection. It didn't match. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light. But the longer I stared, the clearer it became. His head was tilted slightly to the left in the mirror, but in the seat behind me, he was perfectly still. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, but the reflection didn't change. It was moving, slowly turning toward me. But the figure in the back seat stayed frozen. I felt my chest tightened, my hands gripping the wheel so hard they ached. I glanced back again, and this time, his reflection was staring directly at me. His eyes, they weren't human. They glowed faintly, a sickly yellow, and his mouth was too wide, stretching into a grin that seemed to split his face in two. I slammed on the brakes, the car skidding on the wet pavement. "Get out," I shouted, my voice shaking. The figure didn't move, but in the mirror, his reflection did. It leaned closer, its grin widening as it whispered something I couldn't understand, low and guttural, like it wasn't meant for human ears. I twisted in my seat to look directly at him, but the back seat was empty, completely empty. I don't know how I got home that night. I remember driving, my heart pounding, the rain blurring the world into smears of light and shadow. The next morning, I checked the app for the ride history. There was no record of the pickup, no record of the address. It was as if he'd never been there at all. But I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And sometimes, late at night, I catch a glimpse of something in the rearview mirror. Just a flash, a grin, a pair of glowing eyes. If you ever drive alone at night, be careful who you pick up. Not every passenger is what you think they are. And so, the shadows grow a little darker, the night a little colder. Until next time, watch the light and tread carefully in the dark.